Most people go through life playing by a set of rules that were designed to keep them at the bottom. From the time we are children, we are told to be nice, to be completely transparent, and to wait patiently for our turn to be noticed. But if you look closely at the people who actually run the world, the ones who command the room without saying a word, the ones who seem to get promoted effortlessly, and the ones who others naturally follow, you'll realize they are playing a completely different game. They aren't following the rules you were taught in school. 500 years ago, a man named Niccolò Machiavelli decoded that secret game. He didn't write for the polite or the timid. He wrote for those who had the courage to want more. He understood that social influence isn't a gift from the universe. It's a calculated, deliberate strategy. Today, we are stripping away the modern, polite facade to reveal the 9 brutal yet highly effective rules for social dominance. If you feel like you're being overlooked, underestimated, or ignored by those around you, it's because you're breaking these rules without even knowing it. Listen carefully. These aren't just tips. They are the blueprint for a version of you that the world can no longer ignore. Let's begin with the first rule of power. Rule 1. Never show your full hand. Think of life like a high-stakes game of poker. If everyone at the table knows exactly what cards you hold, you lose your advantage before the first bet is even placed. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. In public, in business, and even in your social circles, you must never reveal all your plans, all your ambitions, or your deepest vulnerabilities right away. Humans are naturally predatory. When they know your weaknesses, they use them. When they know your plans, they block them. By keeping a little mystery, you force others to guess. When people don't know exactly what you're thinking or what your next move is, they cannot predict you, and they certainly cannot work against you effectively. This isn't about being a liar. It's about practicing strategic silence. In any room, let others do 80% of the talking. Watch their expressions, listen to their slips of the tongue, and gather data. The less they know about the internal workings of your mind, the more control you subtly gain over the environment. Your true strength lies in being unreadable, a puzzle that others are desperate to solve but never quite can. Rule 2. Cultivate your reputation like a garden. Your reputation is your most valuable currency. However, you must understand a hard truth. Your reputation isn't necessarily what you are in your private moments. It is simply the story the world tells about you. In the game of power, perception is the only reality that matters. Machiavelli famously argued that it didn't matter if a leader was truly virtuous in his heart, as long as the public perceived him as virtuous. In your social world, this means you must be the lead architect of your own image. You cannot leave your reputation to chance. If you want to be seen as a person of high value and reliability, you must always follow through on your word, even in the smallest matters. If you want to be seen as a person of strength, you must learn to keep your complaints and your moments of self-doubt private. This isn't about being fake. It's about being intentional. Every action you take in public should be a brick in the wall of the reputation you are building. Ask yourself, what story do I want people to tell about me when I leave the room? If your current actions don't align with that story, change your actions immediately. Rule 3. Better to be feared than loved. This is perhaps the most misunderstood piece of advice in history. When Machiavelli said it is better to be feared than loved, he wasn't talking about being a bully or a cruel person. He was talking about the stability of respect. Love is a fickle, emotional state. People love you when you are doing something for them, but that love can vanish the moment you say no. Respect, or a healthy amount of social apprehension, is far more durable. If people respect you, and if they understand that there are real social or professional consequences to crossing your boundaries, they will treat you with a level of care that love rarely provides. This requires you to be a person of conviction. It means having the courage to hold people accountable when they disrespect you. People might like you for being easygoing or always available, but they will only truly value your time and your opinion if they respect your strength. When you earn respect, you gain a form of influence that doesn't disappear just because the mood in the room changes. Rule 4. Let others underestimate you. There is no greater tactical advantage than being underestimated. Most people have an ego that demands they be seen as the smartest or most powerful person in the room. They brag about their connections, their wealth, and their plans. Machiavelli would tell you that this is a mistake. When you flaunt your power, you create enemies. and you put people on guard. The wiser path is to let people believe they are superior to you. Let them believe you are less capable, less ambitious, or less informed than you actually are. While they are busy feeding their own egos and feeling superior, they will naturally drop their guard. They will speak more freely around you and reveal their own secrets. This gives you a massive information advantage. When the time comes for you to make a move, whether it's in a negotiation, a promotion, or a social shift, your impact will be devastatingly effective because nobody saw it coming. Never be in a hurry to correct someone who thinks they are smarter than you. Let their arrogance be the blindfold that allows you to win. Rule 5. Master the art of the lion and the fox. Machiavelli famously wrote that a leader must be both a lion and a fox. He explained that the lion is defenseless against traps, and the fox is defenseless against wolves. Therefore, you must be a fox to recognize the traps and a lion to frighten the wolves. In your daily life, this means you cannot survive on raw aggression alone, nor can you survive on just being clever. True social dominance requires you to know which mask to wear. There are moments when you must be the lion, standing tall, speaking with absolute authority, and showing the world that you are not to be trifled with. But there are also moments where the lion's approach would be social suicide. In those moments, you must be the fox. You must be subtle, diplomatic, and charming. You must learn to navigate complex social hierarchies with grace, using indirectness to get what you want without ever creating an open conflict. The most dominant people aren't the ones who are always loud. They are the ones who have the wisdom to know when to roar and when to whisper. Rule 6. Avoid neutrality in conflict. When a conflict arises in your office, your friend group, or your community, your first instinct might be to stay neutral to avoid making enemies. Machiavelli warned that this is one of the most dangerous things you can do. If you try to please everyone by staying in the middle, you often end up pleasing no one. Both sides will eventually view you as untrustworthy or weak. When the conflict is over, the winner will remember that you didn't help them, and the loser will remember that you didn't support them. It is almost always better to choose a side decisively after careful observation. By aligning yourself clearly, you gain the loyalty and the protection of one party. Even those on the opposing side will, in a strange way, respect the fact that you have a backbone and a clear set of values. Of course, you shouldn't jump into every petty argument, but when the stakes are high, you must take a stand. A clear, firm stance is a sign of a leader. Wishy-washy indecision is the mark of a follower. Rule 7. Never wound what you cannot kill. This is a rule of absolute pragmatism. It is about understanding the long-term cost of half-hearted actions. If you are going to challenge someone, criticize a superior, or take action against a rival, you must do it with enough force to resolve the situation completely. If you deliver a weak insult or a half-hearted challenge, you haven't actually solved the problem. You've just created a permanent enemy who will spend every waking hour looking for a way to retaliate against you. Human beings have long memories for slights and insults. If you aren't prepared to win a conflict entirely or resolve it once and for all, it is far better to remain silent and patient. This applies to arguments, professional competition, and social disputes. Either bring the full weight of your logic and influence to bear, or wait for a better opportunity. Lingering resentment is a poison that will eventually come back to haunt you when you least expect it. Either be the ultimate diplomat or be the ultimate victor. There is no safety in the middle. Rule 8. Understand the power of scarcity. In the world of economics, value is determined by supply and demand. The same is true in the world of human psychology. What is abundant is ignored. What is scarce is prized. This applies directly to your presence, your opinions, and your time. If you are the person who is at every single party, the person who responds to every text in seconds, and the person who gives their opinion on every trivial topic, your value in the eyes of others will naturally drop. You become common. Machiavelli would advise you to cultivate a sense of scarcity. Learn the art of the strategic absence. Be fully present and high energy when you are in a room, but don't overstay your welcome. Leave while the conversation is still good. Make people wonder where you are, what you're working on, and who you're with. When you make yourself less available, people begin to treasure the time they do get with you. Your words carry more weight, your presence feels more like an event, and your social status naturally rises. Rule 9. Study and adapt from the greats. Machiavelli was not an inventor. He was a master observer. He spent his life reading the histories of ancient Rome and Greece, studying the rise and fall of kings to understand the universal laws of human behavior. You should adopt this same mindset of a perpetual student. Don't try to reinvent the rules of social dominance on your own. Instead, look around you. Who is the most respected person in your field? Who is the most charismatic person in your social circle? Don't just watch them, dissect them. Analyze how they handle pressure. Look at how they use body language to take up space. Listen to the way they structure their sentences to sound more authoritative. Watch what they don't react to. The people who have mastered social dominance are leaving clues every single day. Your job is to pick up those clues and adapt them to your own unique personality. You don't need to be a carbon copy of someone else, but you should absolutely stand on the shoulders of the giants who came before you. These 9 rules are not a manual for becoming a villain. They are a manual for reality. We live in a world where human nature hasn't changed in thousands of years. People are still driven by the same desires, the same fears, and the same power dynamics that Machiavelli wrote about in the Renaissance. These rules are tools for securing your position, protecting your peace, and navigating the world with a sense of purpose and power. Social dominance isn't about being the loudest person or the most aggressive. It's about strategic intelligence and the self-control to play the long game. If you start applying even a few of these rules today, the world will start treating you differently almost immediately. Embrace these lessons and watch your influence grow.